to our Designated Mental Health Leads Conference. We're delighted to have you all today. My name is Leanne and I will be your host.
All secondary schools have a designated mental health lead, and many of our primary schools as well. We're here to both bring all of the wellbeing leads together, share good practice, share the resources, and talk about really difficult things in respect of our children and young people's emotional wellbeing and mental health.
Events like this are so important because we need to provide school staff with the opportunity and time to process what this means for them and have the difference that they can make in their schools. They have so little time to do this whilst they're doing the day job. Events like today provide that thinking space that they desperately need.
I think we're just trying to promote the role of the designated mental health lead, trying to make people more aware of their wellbeing and each other's wellbeing. But for me, it's more about the children. So looking at their wellbeing and how we can support that and make them able to speak to us really when they need to.
I have always felt like the one key that didn't fit in the lock that everybody else did. I was pretty badly bullied during this time and was having regular meltdowns and panic attacks in school. One school offered to show me around and we went to look around. I was panicking the whole time as it was just groups of teenage girls my age and younger or above. It felt like a living nightmare for me. But the one thing that it wasn't loud and it wasn't disruptive, it was quiet and controlled. Unfortunately, in the education system, I have experienced teachers who have little to no care for students' mental well-being. The amount of times I've been told that everybody gets a little bit anxious and you're fine is insane. Please, when young people are struggling, listen. Asking if someone is okay can literally save someone's life.
Grace suffers from anxiety, and actually just hearing firsthand her lived experience of what it's like to be in school, the barriers that poor mental health create in terms of accessing education, and just how she really needed the support around her. It highlighted the fact that every adult interaction with a young person is vitally important, absolutely vitally important. And so we have got to, with our designated mental health leads, really corral a whole school approach to supporting our children and young people. That's part of our trauma perception practice programme as well that we run in Essex, but really bringing together the fact that all of our children and young people need the right level of support at any given time.
Oh my goodness, she was amazing. I wanted to stand up and clap. She was so good, such a brave girl, so amazing. That's all I can say about that. She was amazing.
Working in primary schools, you see, issues with mental health in the older children. Never really seen it before in infant children, but it's becoming more and more evident now that there is that need to support our very young learners with their mental health.
Mental health is a continuum, it's not linear, and we all have mental health problems. We want to think about how we can better support children and young people in education to thrive, flourish, and be the best version of themselves they can possibly be.
My message really is to just have people know that their jobs are not to help children behave better, it's to make them feel better. Rather than focusing on behaviour, focus on the feeling that drives it and try to heal that. Compassion fatigue doesn't necessarily come from caring too much, it comes from holding in all of the emotion that you've absorbed and not releasing it anywhere. So it's important to understand that when you are caring about people, especially those who've got difficulties, you're absorbing their traumas, you're absorbing their difficulties, and what are you doing with that? And if you don't manage that well enough, you will fatigue and you will burn out. So it's about managing what you're absorbing and having a safe space to be able to do so.
The key speaker, Scott King, stood out very much today because it was coming from the perspective of somebody that has lived a life very much with trauma in his life, which is very much where I'm based. I'm TPP trained. Looking at him and listening to his stories and his life story, how the challenge continues, but how important it is for staff members in schools to be supportive for children going through trauma.
Today is so important because mental health is a huge factor in all of our jobs. As they're saying in there a lot, we're not mental health professionals, but they're giving us the skills to be able to provide the best support that we can in the school setting. So that's really important.
It is clear that we need to continue to work towards a considerable culture shift, changing the fact that suicide is still a taboo subject and one that we find extremely difficult to talk about. We need to be able to talk much more openly and have the difficult conversations about emotional well-being, suicide and self-harm. that while schools have a critical role to play in supporting these young people, it is the responsibility of all agencies and professionals who have working relationships with vulnerable young people to be focusing on emotional well-being and mental health of those young people.
I think if people can take anything away today, it's that there is always hope. We know that in terms of children and young people's mental health, it's a complicated landscape, but there is always hope to do more, think more and support more. And actually, if we take the concept that every interaction with a child, a young person or an adult is an intervention, that we all bring hope to every child that we work with.
The one thing I'd like people to take away from today is the difference that they can make just by listening and being present for their young people. Quite often, the difference you make doesn't have to be an expensive or time-consuming intervention. It can be listening and being available for young people so that they feel safe in their school.